नाज़रीन, अब आपको मिलवाते हैं एक ऐसी मेहमान से। हमारे साथ एक ऐसी खातून मौजूद हैं जो अमेरिका से आई हुई हैं, मेहमान है हमारी, और वाइस प्रेसिडेंट नेशनल बोर्ड ऑफ मेडिकल एग्जामिनर्स इंटरनेशनल प्रोग्राम यूएसए का है। वह उनको ये रिप्रेजेंट करिए, पाकिस्तान में मौजूद हैं इस वक्त, और इनसे जानते हैं कि ये पाकिस्तान क्यों आई, क्या चीज़ ऐसी है जो इनको पाकिस्तान लेकर आई। मेडिकल साइंसेज में इन्होंने करिकुलम डेवलपमेंट में, कोऑर्डिनेशन में, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में बड़ा काम किया है, और वाइस प्रेसिडेंट जिस तरह से मैंने आपको बताया ये हैं मिस ब्राउनल एंडरसन। How are you, Brownell?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good morning, thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
So what brings you to Pakistan?
I'm here to attend a conference, an international conference on medical education. It's called ICME. This is the 6th time the conference has been held. The first one was held here in Islamabad in 2009. And I had the honor of being here at the first one.
Also?
And, yes. And the most exciting thing about that conference, in addition to it being the first of its kind for this region, was that a proclamation was made that the schools should have departments of medical education, and the faculty should focus on medical education as a discipline. And this is unique. There are not many countries where that sort of focus on medical education has happened. And so being back 10 years later and at the conference that was started here and seeing the impact of what the schools have done to promote medical education, to improve the way that particularly physicians, but also dentists, healthcare professionals.
Since the first time it was held.
Yes.
So how did you find it this time?
It's the level of enthusiasm, engagement of the faculty. I did workshops on Saturday. There were about 40 people at the workshop on a beautiful Saturday. They were there all day, and I compare it to the States. In the States, we would not have had that many people attending on a Saturday, on a weekend.
Why not? Because it's a weekend?
Because it's a weekend, because they have other things to do. But it's
in Pakistan, it's the other way around. We work on Saturdays also sometimes.
But it's also, to me, the demonstration of the commitment to medical education. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen in the U.S. It was just impressive to see the engagement and the level of energy that people were committing to being part of this workshop, coming to this conference.
Was it also a surprise for you, because you probably have thought that people here in Pakistan may not be this interested in this kind of subject?
No, in fact, that's part of why this conference is so impressive, because I think people are very interested and they're eager to learn. And the other thing that's important about the conference is that we're all learning from each other. I mean, I'm from the West. I'm not here to tell anybody how it should be done, but rather learning what the challenges are that people here have.
Okay, so since what day did you land in Islamabad?
I arrived very early in the morning on Thursday morning.
So just a few days that you've been here. How did you find it, Pakistan?
Pakistan is amazing. Again, because it's my second visit, people are so welcoming, so hospitable. It's just amazing.
Anything that you have noticed are, you know, people say that things evolve, countries change, and there are things that keep on changing. So since the first time when you came here and now that you're here, any changes that you have?
The size of the city, definitely.
Expanded?
It's expanded so much. We were taken to a lovely restaurant in the mountains last night. Yes. And to see the view and recognize how it's expanded. The buildings are different. They are more majestic somehow. That's the word that comes to mind. It strikes me, and this could just be memory, it strikes me that there's much more greenery, more trees, more parks, the attention to outdoor recreation.
Right, and how have you interacted with the youth of the country?
Well, we've been
on this workshop and in this conference.
We have been very carefully taken care of by medical students.
Really?
Yes. They've been incredibly solicitous and made sure that they knew where we were at all times. And they, again, they're very interested in things in the UK and the US. And again, because they're medical students, they're most interested
in new researches.
Exactly. and what the opportunities might be for them. But they're, just like so many youth, they're engaged, they're smart, they're interested.
Right, they're smart, yes,
yeah.
they're smart, very smart. Anything that you would like us here or the people to change? Something that you would want them to change?
I would not feel comfortable suggesting any change. No, I think again, it's about learning and understanding the context in which things are occurring here. There are many things that we can learn from what you're doing.
Okay, and what about food?
Oh, the food is fantastic.
Not too spicy for you?
No, I think I had one thing that I said, oh, if I ate this a lot, it would be, no, the food is spectacular.
Okay, not too spicy for you. So what is one thing that you've just loved about Pakistan or the people?
One thing, that's very difficult to say one thing. I think it's the openness and being greeted with a smile and a level of interest that is sort of overwhelming.
Right,
yeah.
and the first thoughts when you found out that you are going to attend this conference in Pakistan and you are going to be giving the workshops and you are going to be training youth in Pakistan. So after so many years of this negativity about Pakistan being published in the international newspapers about terrorism and security situation, what were those first initial thoughts that came to your mind when you decided that I'm going to Pakistan?
Well, my first thoughts are, and this is true about medical education, the issues in medical education are shared. Everyone has the same. So it doesn't matter what country, and I maybe don't pay enough attention to it, but I just thought, oh, I get to go back to Islamabad.
Second time.
I get to see it again, and I get to visit Pakistan.
So you're not very, you're not very influenced by the headlines in the newspapers?
No,
you don't bother?
I live in a city that is probably, that's what I say to people, it's just as dangerous where I live.
Where do you live?
I live in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
And so it's fine. I don't think about terrorism or anything, so.
Okay,
no.
so you haven't gotten any chance to go to the northern areas of Pakistan, right?
Not yet, no.
Are
not
you planning
this trip.
to go to?
Maybe, inshallah. Maybe.
Inshallah next time. Any words of Urdu, because you've just said inshallah, so any words of Urdu that you've learned?
I don't know any Urdu. I was just saying to my colleagues, I don't know any Urdu. I know some Arabic, but no Urdu. I don't understand it. I listen and try to and I'm so impressed with like your English, and you go from English to Urdu and so tika.
Okay, so tell me that what exactly you are doing in US?
Sure. I work for an organization in the US called the National Board of Medical Examiners, NBME. And the NBME is more than 100 years old and has been preparing and administering with faculty from medical schools in the US a licensure examination for physicians in the US. You have, in order to practice in the United States, regardless of where you've gone to medical school, you have to take and pass this examination. And we also do a number of other activities. We make tools available to the schools to help their students prepare for tests, as well as to be used to assess their students throughout their medical school curriculum. Do workshops, faculty development workshops, to help our faculty appreciate the value of assessment and the importance of assessment. And I have had the privilege of working with a number of countries that want to develop their standards and develop examinations for their programs. And we have a phrase of, by, and for the country. It's not that we're taking an exam to them and saying, here's your exam, but working with the faculty of that country to determine what they want on their examination, how they want to administer it, what the passing rates are, how it will be integrated with the curriculum. So
So you've extensively worked upon curriculum development for medical schools. So how do you do that, and what are the aspects that you keep in mind while you are developing a curriculum?
Well, the key is, what are the outcomes that the school wants? There, of course, are some national expectations, but it's most important that the faculty of the medical schools say, this is what we want our graduates to be. For instance, there are some medical schools that are devoted to having research scientists as their graduates. Other schools whose mission is to have primary care physicians, family physicians, And so it's important for the school to determine what outcomes they want and then to create the program that will meet that. And the challenge that the schools have is medical knowledge changes rapidly.
With new research is coming in.
Research, new understandings, technology, the use of technology. With the phone now, with a smartphone, one of the keys is that there's too much knowledge for an individual to retain. So one of the skills that the schools have to instill in students is the ability to search for the information they need, to distill what is fact, what is less factual.
Okay.
And so they're big challenges.
Okay, and do you also keep in mind the students, the medical students that are going to study that curriculum? Do you also keep them in mind, because there are certain requirements and needs that are coming to you from the school, that this is what we want our graduates to know, or that this is how I want our graduates to be. But then there is a separate need of those students also.
Yes, well, there are sort of two ways to think about that. One is that the students have to be partners in the educational process. They have to maintain some of the responsibility for their education. It's not just handed to them. And so there is a definite engagement with the students. There's the need for tremendous support of the students. This is hard work, and it's acknowledging that work, finding the ways to deliver it in the most efficient, understandable ways. The students coming to medical school now are generations different than some of their faculty.
Yes.
They are digital natives. They know how to find information and do all of this very quickly. So that's the sort of thing that has to be kept in mind as we're developing new curricula.
While we talk about doctors, one complaint that we often listen to about doctors is that in older times they had this feeling of helping the humanity, curing the humanity. And nowadays people say, especially the patients, when they complain, they say this one thing. Definitely I listen to it a lot more. I don't know why, but they usually say that nowadays it's become more of a business, the health and the medical, instead of having that feeling between the hearts of the doctors, in the hearts of the doctors, that they're there in this field to help the humanity, cure the patients. Instead, they are going towards making it a business.
I think that there's certainly some truth in that, which has to do with how physicians are paid, how pharmaceutical companies are involved, how insurance companies are involved. But it does not change the fundamental reason that the person has gone into medicine. And it's not necessarily to cure so much as to promote wellness. And
exactly.
to be a partner again with the patient. The patient is the center of any of that work. And yes, it has become a business in many places. And some of that is unavoidable. And so that's part of the curriculum, part of the program, that we have to help people understand the systems in which they're working, how to manage those systems and deliver the care that's needed.
Right. Okay, so coming back to your visit to Pakistan, when you told your family that you're coming to Pakistan, what was their reaction? Were they like, be careful?
Well, I think that if it had been 15 years ago, before I started doing this work, they would have been much more concerned. Now they're like, oh, really? You're going back? Be they always say, be careful. Be safe.
That is the standard message that your family gives you everywhere when you travel.
But they're not worried. And the other thing is with the communication. I mean, I can get a text message, I can talk to them. So it's much less remote than it was many years ago.
So always connected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perks of having technology all over.
And they know that I'm going to have an amazing experience and be able to share that. And so everyone's supportive.
Right. Thank you very much. Hope you have you enjoy the rest of your trip here in Pakistan, and hope that you enjoy the people, the food, and the scenery, because Islamabad is one of the most beautiful cities of Pakistan.
It is
and I
indeed.
wish and I hope that you do visit northern areas also, because your trip cannot be said that it is complete without visiting northern areas.
I have to come back.
You have to come back, yes, inshallah. Thank you very
Inshallah.
much. नाजरीन, यहाँ पर हमारे प्रोग्राम का वक्त ख़त्म हुआ. आपको मिलवाया हमने ब्राउनल एंडरसन से, जो कि अमेरिका से आई हैं और पाकिस्तान के बारे में उन्होंने जो कुछ कहा वो आपने सुना.